Welcome back. New England's largest film festival dedicated to celebrating films by, for, and about people of color is opening later this week. The 27th annual Roxbury International Film Festival begins on Thursday and will run over 10 days on screens in and around Roxbury. The festival encourages and supports local and first-time filmmakers. Its ultimate mission: to create a space for a range of stories about Black and brown people. And joining us now is Lisa Simmons. She's the artistic and executive director of the Roxbury International Film Festival. Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, ready to go.
Oh my goodness.
Show 100+ films.
Every year, you just do a fantastic job. This year seems like a particularly important year, though, given the political situation.
I think so. I mean, I think that, you know, we've always been sort of a film festival that lifts up these voices, right? These untold stories of people, of places. And so I do think that filmmakers have really spent the last couple of years really thinking about what they want to do, how they want to have an impact. And I think a lot of the stories that we're seeing at the festival are like that. Mm-hmm. And they're also stories about how you see people one way and you don't really, know who they are. And then you get to find out they have such a deeper history of the things that they're doing in the world.
Now you're kicking off the festival this year with something called Paint Me a Road Out of Here.
Yes.
It's a new documentary by Katherine Gund and produced by Blackish star and Harvard grad Yari Shahidi. We're going to show a clip, but set it up for us if you would.
Incredible film, and this is what I was talking about, is like everyone knows Faith Ringgold as this incredible artist, but did you know that she was also this social activist and really, working with incarcerated women at Rikers Island. She, in 1971, created this big mural at Rikers Island, and she went and met with the women, and someone had said to her, she had said, "What do you need? What do you want?" And they said, "I'd love for you to do something that would help, like paint me a road out of here."
Okay,
and
let's see the clip.
Let's see the clip.
No one and nothing is safe in a prison. Even that painting.
This painting's worth millions of dollars. I don't even know it's there.
I wanted to do something for the Women's House of Detention on Rikers Island. Young women were going to prison. One girl said, "I want to see a road leading out of here."
The painting is called For the Women's House. Almost every single profession in that painting was not open to women in 1971.
These are visual affirmations of what women are capable of when they're supported.
This is hope right on the doorstep of profound hopelessness.
I had an opportunity to go back into the prison where I was incarcerated and connect with people in a way that I wish someone was able to connect with me.
Anyone can start from now and make a brand new ending.
Art making was my outlet to reimagine my own self.
As a person who was incarcerated 20 years and an artist, I love the idea of creating something for women to be more seen.
Well, we talk about that painting by artist Faith Ringgold. It was called For the Women's House, and it was installed in that prison in New York City in 1972. But how did you choose this documentary about this artist for the first film to show this year?
Well, we had some other ideas about other films that we wanted to open with, but this one just sort of like, we always love to open with sort of like how the festival is going to unfold, and this is so inspirational, right? And it is a story about, how you didn't, like I said before, how you didn't know maybe who Faith Ringgold really was. And so many of these artists and filmmakers, and as you know, really do all of these other things around, civil rights and protecting rights.
Because this is not about art, it's also about prison reform.
Right, exactly, exactly. And when you look at this, you have to understand that 90% of the women in Rikers are there awaiting trial. So I think that really resonated with her.
Now, the festival is also featuring a documentary called Harriet Tubman, From the Railroad to Spy, written, produced, and voiced by Luana Graves Sellers. And much of Harriet Tubman's work is not really included in history books. Let's listen to another clip.
During the Civil War, even though she had a $40,000 bounty on her head, she served as a nurse, scout, and spy for the Union Army. Nicknamed General by officers, Harriet spent 3 years in Hilton Head in Beaufort, South Carolina. As the first Black woman in history with permission to travel freely among the troops, she actively participated in U.S. military operations, including the Combahee River Raid. The raid, was a pivotal point towards the Union's victory and the largest emancipation event of the Civil War, rescuing over.
Wow. So how did you choose this film?
Well, I mean, again, because I think it was really when they were taking down Harriet Tubman from the federal
website.
From the websites, and it was sort of like, you know, we're going through so much of this erasure, so much of the loss of history, that it was really important when we saw this documentary to say we really wanted to do it. And we're doing it as part of one of our programs that we started last year called the Senior Lunch, where we do a big lunch at Hibernian Hall for the seniors and have them come in. And last year we had like over 75 people there. It was amazing. And then Kira from the Royal Slave House is going to be doing the moderation and the conversation
The Royal
about
Slave
it.
House quarters in
Yes.
Bedford?
Yes.
So The Ebony Canal is a documentary film narrated by Academy Award-winning icon Viola Davis, and it's about the current state of maternal health of Black and brown women. The documentary features the birthing journey of 4 families, and here's a part of one of those stories. Let's take a look.
Zori was born September 22nd. He was completely fine. I got to see him. They had no concerns. The next day, I got dressed to go to see him. By the time I got down there and they let me see him, they were working on him. And they started pumping his chest. And
I will always love you how I do. Let go of a prayer for you. Just a sweet word.
the doctor,
The table is prepared for you.
he said, I would rather your son pass away in your arms than with us working on him. We have done everything.
Wishing you Godspeed, glory.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. A very powerful moment. Why did you include this film?
I mean, because this is a very big issue. It's an issue that's been an issue for a very long time, and we have to constantly keep these stories in the forefront so people understand that Black maternal health is a very important issue for all of us to be understanding and learning about in the Black community.
One of the very significant focuses of this festival is on local films.
Yes.
Just tick off which ones stand out for you.
Oh my gosh, all of them do. I mean, we have like 40% of the festival this year are local filmmakers, which is so exciting because a lot of these filmmakers were either came to the festival or and were like, you know, were inspired by the festival. Now they have production companies, they're making their own films. I can't tell you which ones, you've got to come out and see, but they are incredible. All of them are incredible.
Okay, thank you for being here. Lisa Simmons is the Artistic and Executive Director of the Roxbury International Film Festival. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget, everybody, opening night of the Roxbury Film Festival begins on Thursday with the film, which is Juneteenth.
Yes.
The film is Paint Me a Road Out of Here, and the festival runs through June 27th.